Howdy again, everybody. This is Doc with Thorofan, and we are all getting ready for what's going to be coming, and of course, in a couple of weeks, and that is the start of the Saratoga racing season. And of course, it's going to be a Saratoga racing season like no other in history, really, as a lot of this racing season has been throughout the country, and more than likely will be going forward to the end of 2020. One of the unfortunate things, really, with fans not being allowed to be on track for the Saratoga seasons here, at least for a majority of it, if not all of it, is that you can't really take part in one of the best things about Saratoga, and one of the things that I look forward to every year when I go up there, and that is the early mornings, being on the Oklahoma training track at the Whitney viewing stand, watching the horses work out, being on the main track area, breakfast at Saratoga, learning all that the sport has to offer, watching the horses in the morning go through their routine training, just soaking in the atmosphere that is mornings at Saratoga. It truly can take away any stress you may have, and it's something that all of us really, really look forward to every year. And that, of course, is complemented by the Saratoga Towel Guide that is put out by Thorofan that helps everybody identify which horses are being trained by which trainers, and that is something that you can follow out on the track, and we are, of course, going virtual with it in 2020. But the towels basically stay about the same, so even if you can't enjoy it up at Saratoga, you certainly can see those saddle towels at other tracks if you happen to be there watching training, because they usually do stay about the same, and so you can identify at least which trainers are out training their horses in the morning. And there's a lot of uniqueness about Saratoga. There's a lot of tradition, a lot of superstition, a lot of different things that really make Saratoga a very unique place, both in history and in racing. And one of those, of course, is the statement that everybody hears that Saratoga is the graveyard of champions, or sometimes the graveyard of favorites, but graveyard of champions is more the line that is used. What exactly does that mean? Well, it basically means that there are horses that came to Saratoga really that people felt there was just no way they could lose. They were a cinch to win, and somehow they managed to lose. And there are some very famous horses that have fallen victim to this curse, if you will, over the years of racing at Saratoga, and we're going to highlight some of them right here at Thorofan for you, and we're going to take a look at 5 specific horses that are really etched in the stone of racing lore, if you will, as being members of the graveyard of champions. So let's take a look at who made the list.
He was known as the first Big Red, and some will argue the only Big Red, and also called the mostest hoss that ever was by his groom Will Tarbert. He was Man OWar, a stunning chestnut owned by Sam Riddle, who would go on to be one of the greatest racehorses in thoroughbred history. Some would argue the greatest. While he almost certainly would have been a Triple Crown winner if his owner had entered him in the Kentucky Derby, he conquered all comers, including the 1919 winner of the Triple Crown, Sir Barton, in that famous match race up in Canada. Conquered all, that is, except one. His one blemish on his record of 21 races came at Saratoga and the Sanford Stakes, where he finished a fast closing second to Harry Payne Whitney's Upset. Some will claim that that is where the term upset came to have its real meaning. However, a quick look through history shows that it was used way before then. Having a horse named Upset defeat as heavy a favorite as Man OWar in a race certainly did help to cement the term in the common vernacular going forward in the sports world, though. So, why did the immortal Man OWar lose that race? As long as there are railbirds at the track, there will be theories. Race fixing by the jockeys was one rumor that floated around for a while. What is mostly agreed on, though, is that it was the start that doomed him. In those days, no starting gate was in use, and the horses lined up for the starter in front of a white tape that was raised to indicate the start. Well, that day a fill-in starter was present, and while they were working to back Man OWar into the right spot for the starter sprung the tape and the horses were off, with Man OWar basically left flat-footed at the start. Working hard to make up that lost ground at the start, he gallantly cut into Upset's lead through the stretch, but fell a half-length short as he simply ran out of real estate. To show that his loss to Upset was simply a fluke, in the storied stretch of Saratoga, The two horses met 6 more times over the course of their careers, with OWar trouncing his rival in every meeting. He did lose that race, though, and as such, will go down in racing lore as one of the first to have their place cemented in the graveyard of champions. They called him the Fox of Bel Air, in reference to his owner's home of Bel Air Stud in Maryland. He was racing's second Triple Crown winner, ironically in a year similar to this, when the races were run out of order and the Preakness was run before the Derby. He was also the only Triple Crown winner to ever sire another Triple Crown winner in history. His name was Gallant Fox, and he also holds the distinction of being another sure winner that fell to the curse of the Graveyard of Favorites in 1930. It was the Travers Stakes, and after sweeping the Triple Crown in style, Gallant Fox was made a prohibitive favorite for the Midsummer Derby. Surely no one could beat him, especially a horse that was at least 100 to 1 on the board. The track that day was quite muddy, and his trainer, Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons, was not keen on running his champion over that type of ground. But Gallant Fox's owners overruled him, and they insisted that he run. Facing a track not to his liking and a huge long shot who relished a muddy going, Gallant Fox lost that Travers by 3 lengths to the 100 to 1 shot named Jim Dandy. So famous of an upset was it, that the winner now has a race named for him at Saratoga that serves as a major prep at the Spa for the Travers Stakes. Who knows what the race would have been named had the Graveyard of Champions not claimed another victim in the great Gallant Fox that muddy afternoon. He was the horse a generation had waited for.
Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front.
It had been 25 years since Citation swept the Triple Crown, and many were wondering if the feat would ever be accomplished again. The big red chestnut from Meadow Stable gave racing fans what they sorely needed in that year of 1973, a true equine hero to cheer for. After his stunning Belmont win and a trip to Arlington Park to win a stakes there with ease, he shipped up to Saratoga to take on older horses in the Whitney, a race that was designed to be a prep for the Travers Stakes later in the meet. No one thought the big red train would ever be beat again. But little did everyone know that the perfect storm of circumstances and a man known as the Giant Killer were lying in wait that summer afternoon at the Spa.
And they're off. And that's ruled by reason. Between horses on the outside, there goes Onion, and West Coast Scout is now third. That's Secretariat fourth, and True Night is fifth as they round the clubhouse turn. Onion takes command now, moving quickly to a 2.5 length lead, with West Coast Scout second by ahead, ruled by reason alongside third. A gap of 2 lengths, Secretariat is fourth. 3 lengths farther back, True Night, as the field moves on to the backstretch. Onion has the lead by 1 3/4 lengths. West Coast Scout is second on the inside by 3/4 of a length. Ruled by reason next, and there goes Secretariat, moving through along the inside now to be fourth. A gap of 6 lengths and True Night. Down the backstretch, it's Onion showing the way by 1.5 lengths. And on the outside, West Coast Scout second ahead. There's Secretariat, a closer third on the inside, moving to the leader. 2.5 lengths farther back, ruled by reason. 8 lengths, and it's True Night fifth. They go past the half-mile pole into the far turn. Onion in front by 1 length. That's Secretariat. On the inside, taking over second position, moving to the leader. West Coast Scout is now third, with ruled by reason fourth. Far back, it's True Night. On the far turn, Onion in front by ahead. Secretariat on the rail, now up to challenge for the lead. Coming to the top of the stretch, it's Onion on the outside. And Secretariat on the rail up to challenge. They turn for home. There's 3/16 of a mile to the finish. It's Onion on the outside. Secretariat on the rail, stride for stride, head and head, and down the stretch they come. Onion on the outside, Secretariat on the rail. 1/8 of a mile to the finish. The leaders head and head, stride for stride. Secretariat and Onion. Onion has the lead by a head. Secretariat on the inside, past the 16th pole. It's Onion in front by a head. On the inside, Secretariat.
How could a horse like the immortal Secretariat lose a race against what was considered such inferior competition? Well, what the public didn't know at the time was that Secretariat had been battling a pretty severe fever for a few days prior to the running of the race, and jockey Turcotte knew he was not going to be himself, as it sapped much of the big horse's energy. He begged trainer Lucien Laurin not to run him because of it, but the decision was made to still run, as there was so much press and publicity about him being there, they just could not back out now. Turcotte would later recall just how gallant Secretariat was in that race, saying any other horse would have tired badly to finish dead last under similar conditions. Not to be ignored, though, was the amazing work of a young trainer, Alan Jurgens, who turned Onion from an unknown horse into the slayer of a giant just mere days after he had set a track record going 6.5 furlongs at Saratoga. Sometimes things have a way of working out perfectly for an undesired result, and that is what happened this summer day at Saratoga, earning Secretariat his place in the Graveyard of Champions. Summer of 2010, the equine queen of Saratoga, Rachel Alexandra, returned to the track that helped cement her 2009 Horse of the Year title with a performance that none who were there for it would ever forget.
Stretch, it is still the filly in front. A dramatic stretch drive awaits in the Woodward Stakes. On the outside, here's Bulls Bay and Calvin Morel imploring his filly for more. And Rachel Alexandra holds on to the lead. Bulls Bay is second. Macho again is making a tremendous run for the back of the pack. Rachel Alexandra, Macho again. They're coming down to the finish. It's going to be desperately close. Here's the wire. Rachel won. She is indeed Rachel Alexandra the Great, beating Macho again here, and farther back, Bulls Bay was third. The time was 1:48.1. Rachel Alexandra raises the rafters here at the Spa.
Her 2010 campaign had not been quite as meteoric, but she appeared to finally be rounding back into her championship form of 2009 when she took on a small but talented field in the personal ensign at Saratoga. Made the odds-on favorite, many felt that there was just no way she could lose at the Spa. This despite the presence of the very talented Life at 10 in the field, as her raucous fans would carry her to victory once again. Another storied stretch drive awaited for those fans, under the historic grandstand and rafters that again were shaking with excitement.
And they're off. Rachel Alexandra gets off to an alert beginning and has gone to the front in the first 100 yards. But here's Life at 10 and's not going to let Rachel Alexandra get away. So the race is on as they move for the clubhouse turn. Rachel Alexandra and Life at 10 is glued to her into the clubhouse turn. As Calvin Burrell floats his rival wide into the turn, Rachel Alexandra leads the way, hounded all the way by Life at 10. Well behind are the other three, Missing 6 persistently, and Class of 63. 23-3 was the opening quarter mile. Rachel Alexandra, the reigning Horse of the Year, shadowed intently by Life at 10. Their opening half mile was 47 3/5 seconds, but there's still 5.5 furlongs remaining here, and they continue in tandem down the backstretch as this chess game continues between Calvin Burrell and Johnny Velasquez. Burrell and champion Rachel Alexandra, Life at 10 and Johnny Velasquez, they have been 1-2 inches apart. They're still that way with a half mile to go. They've run 3/4 of a mile in tandem in 1:12 flat. 7 Lakes to persistently third, and then Missing 6 on the inside fourth. around the far turn. Just a bit more rain for Rachel. Rachel leads 3/4 of a length. Life at 10 right with her. Here comes Persistently, who's going to arrive at the scene at the quarter pole. And now the field turns for home. Top of the stretch at Saratoga. Rachel Alexandra has turned back. Life at 10. Persistently's going to run at her into the final furlong. And Rachel digs down. Here's Persistently trying to pull off an upset. It is still Rachel Alexandra. Persistently is running at her, and Persistently has defeated Rachel Alexandra here at Saratoga.
It seemed for a fleeting moment there that the magic would be brought back and Rachel would repel the challenge and hold on to win. As is so often the case in racing, though, sentimental wishes are not enough to win races. And it did seem fitting that of all the horses to pull this shocking upset, it would be one bred and owned by the family who raced the immortal personal ensign herself. Racing can be funny, and often cruel, like that, for while she didn't lose anything in the eyes of her adoring fans, she did lose that race, ensuring her place alongside the others in the Graveyard of Champions. Like Secretariat before him in the 70s, this horse brought an end to an even longer drought for a generation of fans just waiting for a champion.
Come into the final furlong. Frosted is second with 1/8 of a mile to go. American Pharaoh's got a 2-length lead. Frosted is all out at the 16th pole. And here it is. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh is finally the one. American Pharaoh has won the Triple Crown.
Yes, he finally was the one, and the fairy tale continued with a facile victory in the Haskell before heading to the Midsummer Derby among a tidal wave of fan support. So much so that 30,000 fans turned out in the morning just to see this horse gallop once around the track. He headed into the Midsummer Derby a prohibitive favorite, with his fans once again feeling there was just no way he could lose.
They're off in the Travers. And American Pharaoh had a great start. He goes straight to the front, and Frosted is away well. And Frosted is just to the outside of the Triple Crown winner early. And then it's Smart Transition running in third. Upstart is fourth. Texas Red fifth. Keen Ice is sixth on the outside as they pass by us. And then Mid-Ocean Fremento. Tail of Verve and King of New York is the trailer. So American Pharaoh gets some early pressure here in the Travers. Frosted is kept close to the pace, and Smart Transition is third. The opening quarter mile was a soft one, though. It was 24 1/5 seconds. Upstart is tucked in. He's now third, and Smart Transition is back to fourth. And then it's Texas Red and Keen Ice, a separation of 5 to Mid-Ocean, and it's a long way more back to the others. And they're followed by Tail of Verve, Fremento, and King of New York. And a Triple Crown winner moves on to the backstretch at Saratoga. American Pharaoh is the leader, and Frosted is keeping him company up the backstretch. He's 3/4 of a length behind him. And then it's Smart Transition, Upstart right together. Keen Ice is fifth behind them. Kent DeSormo and Texas Red are 6 lengths behind American Pharaoh, who continues to be pressed along by Frosted. And they went a half mile in 48 1. And at the half mile pole, these two are together. And they've gone 3/4 in 1:11 2. American Pharaoh by ahead. And Frosted is taking it to him on the far turn. Frosted is right alongside of American Pharaoh. And now Victor Espinosa has to ask American Pharaoh to go. And Frosted continues to cling to him on the outside as they round the far turn. They're 4 lengths ahead of Keen Ice. And as they turn for home, American Pharaoh has lost the lead at the top of the stretch. Frosted on the outside is now in front. But American Pharaoh is battling on from the inside. He's showing all this fight with 1 furlong to run. And here on the far outside comes Keen Ice with a late threat. American Pharaoh put away Frosted. He has to deal with Keen Ice. Keen Ice has got him. Keen Ice has won the Travers over American Pharaoh in a dramatic upset. Frosted was third, and Upstart was fourth, and a final time of 2:01.57 seconds. The Graveyard of Champions has claimed another.
The Graveyard of Champions had claimed its latest victim, but how could a horse like American Pharaoh lose after beating many of these rivals multiple times? In the end, it appeared to just be a combination of the cross-country travel and that energetic gallop before that morning throng that took just enough out of him not to be able to hold off Keen Ice. He did get the better of that rival and his others, though, in the Breeders' Cup Classic, completing what some would call the Grand Slam of racing. He earned another honor with that loss in the Travers, though, that being a place in the legendary Saratoga Graveyard of Champions.
So I hope that helped explain a little bit about the term the Graveyard of Champions and what it means when it is talked about with Saratoga and some of the odds-on favorites and the can't-lose horses that somehow found a way to lose for a variety of reasons in that storied stretch at Saratoga. We hope that everybody does enjoy the Saratoga season this year. Of course, again, it's going to be very different, mostly enjoying it through online video viewing or some great TV programming that will cover the races as well. However you are able to enjoy it, we really do hope that you do enjoy this season like no other up at Saratoga. And who knows, maybe towards the end of the meet, the last week or so, they might be able to allow some fans onto the ground, and if they do, and if they allow this as well, please try to take advantage of going to a morning at Saratoga. There truly is nothing like it. It is a magical time. It just the pageantry, the beauty of the sport. It is something that every racing fan should experience at least once in their life, and everybody really should experience once in their life. And if you do get lucky enough to go, remember to take that Thorofan saddle towel guide with you too, because that gives you all the information you could possibly need to enjoy your morning to the fullest up at Saratoga. I am Doc for Thorofan, and as always, if there's any issues, any questions, anything pertaining to thoroughbred racing as it involves in fans and wagering and handicapping or anything fandom and thoroughbred racing, there's only one place to really turn for everything you need. That is right here at Thorofan.